Hello. I'm going to be talking about Jurassic World Rebirth. It's the latest in the franchise that started in 1993 with Spielberg's films, and now we're into number 7. I'll say from the outset, I'm not really a big fan of the franchise. Obviously, the special effects and the sense of wonder of the first two films are impressive and still stand up mostly to this day. But the storytelling, the characterization, the plotting, the dialogue, they don't generally have not left me particularly excited or overwhelmed. I've never really felt the need to buy any of them. I think maybe I have Jurassic Park 2 Lost World somewhere on an old format, maybe a DVD or a VHS copy of it. That's the one with the best set pieces. Actually, I don't think I think the franchise peaked in terms of action and choreography and stunts and wow factor in terms of action and adrenaline with the second one. I don't think it's been bettered, and I think the franchise also has suffered from not being very good compared to the first novel, the Michael Crichton. If you've never read the original Jurassic Park book that the franchise emanates from, I recommend checking it out. It's very dark. It's different. It's violent. It's not, when you read it, you don't really think of a family film with that. Actually, it would be good if someone ever. That's the way to go if you want to do a Jurassic Park film or Jurassic World film. Is go and reboot the entire franchise, but go back to the source novel and give it an adult rating and redo it. That's what I would recommend the rights holders to have a go at. But having said all that about the franchise, the first one, I watched when I was a young, teenager at the cinema, and there are many scenes of Jurassic Park that floored me. The birth of sort of CGI. I know you can look back to The Abyss or young Sherlock Holmes for early CGI, which obviously are impressive, and obviously Terminator 2. But Jurassic Park, I think, put CGI on the map for many people. And it's obviously Spielberg firing on all cylinders, really a creative filmmaker with camera work, camera angles, mise en scène with Jurassic Park. I didn't really like the way the film ended, and Jurassic World again suffers a bit from not great characterization and odd choices in terms of plot and character work. But I was still weirdly excited for Jurassic World Rebirth, this latest one, because of one main reason, because of the director, Gareth Edwards. I recommend you looking at his back catalogue. Not all of it is great, but out of the 5 films so far, I like 3 of them. His debut, Monsters, which he wrote and directed, is a low-budget monster movie, and it's spectacular, especially when you read about how much it cost. It costs so little compared to blockbusters, but it's like an indie blockbuster. And it was a great calling card for him, because straight after that he got the Godzilla Hollywood film, which started off the Monsterverse, with King Kong, Skull Island, and the Godzilla versus Kong, and all the films that have sort of come since the Gareth Edwards Godzilla. Again, I wasn't a big fan of that film because I didn't like the plot, or I didn't like the dialogue and the characterization. Just, it's a shame but the visuals are stunning for that film, and Gareth Edwards really showed how he knows how to use camera work and framing, and some really impressive stylistic choices in the Godzilla film. And you can see why after that he got Rogue One, the Star Wars film, which for me is the best Star Wars movie. I know that might be controversial, but I love Rogue One. I really love it. It's my favourite Star Wars film. I think it's the best one. I'd love to see like a longer version of that film. Like I felt that I could have spent hours more. I know you got Andor, obviously the prequel TV show, but you know the Gareth Edwards film of Rogue One that led to A New Hope. In terms of like the franchise of Star Wars, I love it. I love that film. And you can see, you know, what a skillful filmmaker is, how good he is with visual effects. Like, he really understands. And it was cemented, you know, with the creator. His film that, unfortunately, didn't do very well at the box office. It's a real shame. You know, it's an original work. We had to wait sort of 7 years, I think, something like that, between Rogue One and the creator. The creator has a problem with the ending. I didn't really like the ending. It's very conventional, but as a sort of anti-war war movie set in the future, the creator has got much to recommend it. And again, the visual effects are phenomenal with the creator. Like, Gareth Edwards really understands how to use visual effects. He really makes the most of his budget, and again he's great with camera work here, you know. So because of those films, that's why I was excited for Jurassic World Rebirth. I thought maybe he could sort of rejuvenate the franchise or take it to a new level, but unfortunately not. Unfortunately, Jurassic World Rebirth, you know, it's it's more of the same problems anyway. You know, of course they've got some good dinosaur effects and things, but still some of it feels like the backgrounds when they're, you know, on the cliffs and stuff, it doesn't always feel like they're in proper locations. Feels like they're in you know, they might be using green screens and things. I might be wrong, but you know, there's the artifice sometimes that crops up that feels like they're not shooting in a sort of Hawaiian location, for example, or tropical location, or equatorial location where the film is set. That's a problem as well. And also the hijinks, the sort of the scenarios that the characters find themselves in with Jurassic World Rebirth are sort of so tired. We're 7 films in now, and it's basically the same sort of scene structures where, you know, characters come up against dinosaurs, there's tension, there's like, what's that? Was that a new dinosaur, or is that something we've not seen before? Then there's characters trying to escape from a dinosaur in a different setting, basically. That's basically what the entire 7 films are, is characters coming up against dinosaurs and trying to evade them. Some get eaten, some don't, you know, most don't, and so that's the problem with the Jurassic World Rebirth. I was hoping it would reinvent the wheel, but it doesn't. The other problem I have with the Jurassic World films, so these 4 films, these sort of second sort of tranche of the franchise, is the use of sort of mutant dinosaurs, like the DNA sort of mangling to make different kinds of dinosaurs that never existed. And I feel like dinosaurs are already interesting, you know, and to have resorted to sort of making mutant dinosaurs, I don't know, I was so underwhelmed by that concept. It doesn't really interest me. I'd love to see more dinosaurs that have never been shown in the franchise and have characters come up and interact with them. If you watch the Apple TV show, actually, it's done, you know, narrated by David Attenborough. There's lots of interesting dinosaurs in that. You know, it's done like a documentary. It's a documentary TV show on Apple TV Plus. You know, check it out if you love like dinosaurs, or you like Jurassic Park films, or just interested in like prehistoric, you know, the dinosaur periods. You know, so I would check that out. And I mean, if you watch that TV show, you'll see that actually there's a lot of dinosaurs they could have used in these films. It's a shame they didn't. They're resorting to sort of the sort of mutations of dinosaurs, the DNA mangling and cloning and splicing, and you know, it actually it's because like the Jurassic World films make me think of a kaiju, you know, the Japanese subgenre kaiju monster movies, you know, Godzilla. It reminds me of that, you know, and I love monster movies. This might, well, you know, I have a real soft spot for the subgenre, but they rarely deliver, you know. Even though as much as I love them, I'm always hoping every monster movie I watch, is this going to deliver? Is this going to deliver? It's a hard thing to get right. You need the spectacle, you need the tension, and you also need like, interesting characters doing interesting things and saying interesting things. But it's very, those elements are sort of rarely all in place in the same film, unfortunately. And if you are going to do sort of DNA mangling or anything like that, then why not have, like, imagine talking dinosaurs, hunting human beings that have been, like, devastated by viruses that have come back from 65 million years ago. I want to see, like, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes kind of world building. That's what I want to see. Whereas it's tired. It's so tired. Even after the first two films, that's it. It's like two sort of interesting, mildly sort of entertaining films, or sporadically very entertaining films with the first two Spielberg, and the magic has sort of never been recaptured for me, with the other five films. And this film, Jurassic World Rebirth, is interesting with the choice of violence. Are the filmmakers trying to push the rating, because this is a family franchise? You can't, are the filmmakers trying to push the rating as much as possible, violence as much as possible within the rating? There's a severed arm. There's interesting scene where there's blood washing on the surf on a beach. I wonder if the filmmakers of this franchise would have loved to have been let off the leash. Imagine an adult Jurassic Park, Jurassic World film. I'd love to see something like that. With the plot is there's another second island. I mean, Jurassic Park, you've got Jurassic Park, the island, then you've got Jurassic World, Lost World, Jurassic Park, sorry, Lost World, the second Spielberg film, that's got the second island. Here you've got, like, again, we've got a second island with a lab. It's been done before. It's like, it's a tired narrative device, and it sort of groans them. You're watching, you like roll your eyes and you realise where the location is. And this time they've got, like, a sort of super duper mutant monster dinosaur hybrid, a D-Rex, not a T-Rex, a D-Rex, and he looks like the Rancor monster from Return of the Jedi. It's a pretty angry animal as well. You sort of wonder why, when you watch looking at this animal, that's saved, it's saved for the climax. I hope that doesn't ruin anything. You figure it's probably going to be it. You wonder, like, why any creatures are still alive on this island, because this thing is, like, powerful and formidable. So you think, well, it's probably it would have eaten everything on the island already. So, like, how are there any dinosaurs left? I mean, I know it's a potential plot hole nitpick, but it makes you think when you're a bit bored of what you're watching, like, why is this happening? And wouldn't I would have loved it, or couldn't the filmmakers have made the D-Rex, like, bulletproof? Like, they'd modified the dinosaurs, the scientists had modified the dinosaurs in the lab and then made them bulletproof. So then you have an army come and land to try and rescue the cast, and then the army's up against the D-Rex, and obviously the bullets can't harm it. And so you would have this, like, if you're going to go, like, epic and bonkers with creating this D-Rex, why not go bonkers and epic with the climax? Have, like, a big firefight, big climax, lots of bit players, lots of cannon fodder. It just feels like I don't know why the filmmakers didn't do that. Just make it different, to what's come before. I just, I want to see filmmakers sort of let off the leash of their imaginations, and if you've got the resources, why not go for it? It's a shame they didn't try anything different enough, with Jurassic World Rebirth. It's a real shame. In terms of the cast, Mahershala Ali is the only real standout. It's a testament to his acting, and his charisma, that he's such a engaging performer. But everyone else, he's not given enough to do, unfortunately. And But it's a Jurassic Park / Jurassic World film, so maybe you don't expect much from the cast. I tell you what, if you want to watch better examples of man versus monsters, check out Deep Blue Sea. That's the shark film with modified sharks. Also, from the MonsterVerse I was mentioning earlier, Kong Skull Island is for me the highlight of that franchise. That's an interesting film and a fun blockbuster as well. Not many people talk about it. I like it. And also Cloverfield, the sort of found footage monster movie. That's in my top 10 favourite monster movies of all time. That is exhilarating film. So check those 3 out, and if you see Jurassic World Rebirth, I hope you enjoy it, and thank you.